our face-off right now.
Good evening, Apex Comps, Mr. Man. Welcome back to the broadcast. And we'll start off with Aquatic. Mr. Man, music while you play. Do you play music while you play World of Tanks?
And don't give us this, I always platoon, so I don't listen to music. When you are listening to music, what music is it?
Oh, Rock seems
No, I always play music, even when I'm playing a match like tonight. I usually listen to pretty much any kind of rock, heavy metal, stuff like that.
Man after my own heart.
Yeah.
Nice. Just keeps it classy. Comps, what's your deal?
No music whatsoever. I find music distracting when I play the game. So I mute everything, mute most of the sounds in game, just the important stuff on, and that's how I like to play.
Do you put white noise on in to kind of create the simulation of the live the live environment?
No, I'm not at that point yet, but who knows?
Yet.
Maybe that would help.
Keyword is yet.
Yet.
Comps is willing to try anything to get the edge.
Yeah, that's kind of why Apex is on top right now.
Fair
so,
enough.
we'll jump to Apex Comps. You guys are dominant right now. Eclipse was the closest match we've seen so far. Now, and mistakes, Eclipse is bringing it close. Do you think that Aquatic AM60s compares to Eclipse at all? And do they have a chance today?
Well, I mean, Aquatic is a good team. I mean, we practice them. They're able to get some games off of us in scrims, but in a match scenario, I mean, anything can happen. So hopefully, we don't play poorly today, and everything goes to plan, and it's another victory for our record.
And the roster change, I believe, was I hearing word that External may or may not be here tonight?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, he's not here. He got put on orders, so he won't be here for the next 3 matches, I believe.
Okay.
So
who's going to be
stepping
in?
That out.
Who's stepping in his place right now?
Germ is stepping in tonight, and then we'll see how that goes for the other matches.
Okay. And Mr. Man, you guys are on your hottest streak of the season. You've won your last 4 matches in a row. What are you guys trying to do to extend that tonight against Apex?
Obviously, we do all our normal prep, and we just know that we got to win, every game we can. So tonight against Apex, and also on Saturday against Eclipse, if we win both those games, then we're looking really good for the season. If not, we're still looking all right, but we're going to do our best.
So you're eyeballing that second place spot, get the automatic bye?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for showing up on the face-off. We'll see you all on the battlefield. All right. So, well, that's Apex. Good to know that Germ's going to be stepping in. Germ was a very regular player in the past.
He was always, the thing is about Germ is he's a caller mainly, and so he's always put himself down into those tier 8 roles where he's really just focused on calling. Now with Wallhacks being the main caller right now, my guess is what will happen is we'll probably see Wallhacks move up to the tier 10, and we'll see Germ just focus on the scouting while Wallhacks makes the more informed decisions while playing the tier 10.
Perhaps.
My guess.
Well,
or vice versa.
Yeah, and we'll have to see how Germ jumping up onto the playing roster is going to affect the team as well, because sometimes you just change things up a little bit and maybe it improves your play. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it really impacts your play. We'll find out how important External is and how Germ's able to help or augment the team as we get into battle number 1, which will be, I believe, Prokhorovka.
Well, and another thing to note real quick is External to today is one of the best bat chat players in the league. He averages over 2,100 average damage in that bat chat. And so losing him, especially while they go on to a couple of maps that may heavily involve bat chats, a couple that don't, but especially on Prokhorovka and Cliff. That's maps where bat chats are crucial. Do you think that losing him is going to be something that's going to hurt Apex, or do you think that they have enough overall player talent that they can fill his spot without too much of a hassle?
Oh, come on. I don't think External's that crucial to the team like that. I mean, he's good. There's no doubt. But you've got a roster like Apex has got. Well, you're going to be able to bring German, and Germ's probably going to perform. You've got Dodoma already.
My point is this, right? And that's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
My point is this: if you take, say, Ledif away from 07, that's going to hurt the team. That's the superstar player that they're going to lose.
Yeah.
You just go look at Apex. You take away any one of these players, even what you were to take away, say, Dodoma or Ox Mathis. Does it really hurt the team?
Yes and no. It can absolutely hurt the team. Maybe there's one moment where it's a very open-ended kind of a scenario. It's like we shall see whether or not he makes a change, whether or not him leaving is going to force Apex to lose or drop a few battles.
Well, let's go ahead and find out how badly losing External will hurt them or if it won't at all.
Prokhorovka, one of the first maps in the game. Teams start at the regular spawn points as they do in standard battles. Bases are separated from each other by the railway, so the defending team has to choose whether to send their vehicles to the left side, playing them in the centre, or to the right of the railway, occupying the hill and a part of the village. The attacking team usually attacks the first base. However, the teams often go for face-to-face confrontations, 7-on-7, in the hilly terrain at the centre. That's why both teams frequently use vehicles with good gun depression angles and sturdy turrets.
And I was wrong. Apex is going to be Germ in one of the 3 bat chats they bring. 2 grills into Doma and God Emperor Brett. Ox in the i7 and Wallhacks down in the RU251. M60s, an i7, a Kronwagen, 3 bat chats, an STRV 103B, and Marsh coming in the RU251.
All right, Marsh is going to go for an opening scout run. It's going to be counter to Wallhacks, and Marsh is going to take 900 damage to start this one.
Wallhacks is going to chase this down. He's going to make sure he goes down.
And he understands that it's not risky enough, because Marsh just looked around and noticed that he doesn't have any friends around to help him, which hurts a lot. And
down he goes to Wallhacks finally. Good stuff there. Good pick from Wallhacks.
Rest in peace, his friend.
We don't credit Wallhacks enough for his overall tier 8 play, but he really handles himself a lot of times.
Yeah, well, that's right there. You got to give it to him. He set the team up, the opening scout run. They predicted where the other scout was coming from. Marsh did not have as good a jump as Wally did. Wally gets there first. He gets better spotting. He's able to get himself to the safer position sooner, and so he doesn't take 900 damage. But because he's there first, Marsh doesn't have a chance. Marsh kept going with his scout run, which is, by the way, the risky move that you're making there. So he decides to keep going, and he paid for it. That was his choice, and it didn't pay off very much. We're going to have to see how Aquatic's able to deal with that. Apex is going to be in the lead right now. They're going to be able to set the tempo, and Aquatic's going to have to react to that, because right now they have no control outside of the northwest quadrant. And, well, it's the question is now, like, what's Apex's next move? What are they going to be going for? And if Ox Mathis in the middle here can put any damage out towards Felix in the Kronwagen or into that IO7, Feel My Potato, out in the east side.
Well, as Haka showed last game, an IS-7 versus a Kronwagen hold down, hitting that shot, there's an extremely tight angle that you can hit. But the problem is that IS-7 gun can be trollish, for a better lack of a better word, and it can be difficult to land on. So I don't know that I'd really want to count on that IS-7 doing damage onto the Kronwagen in this situation.
All right. Well, while we have a moment, and while Apex is trying to figure things out, let's go ahead and take a listen in with them, see what they're up to, and see what the plan is.
Get ready to shoot both the I-7 and the Sturv. We don't know yet.
I got lit, so there is someone on the 6th one.
Okay.
I back the I-7
I can go up in E0. I can do
Go ahead.
I-7's trying to AT me.
Get closer.
Just always be careful of the 2-line push.
So you're green 4, right? In fact?
Yep.
Okay.
Got about 7 minutes, lots of time.
I mean, you could still
just play really safe.
Looks like Toronto is still getting spotted by side shots on his turret.
Of course. Got my gun.
Okay, if that's clear, then that means the grill has to move over here to get a shot on A8.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Not the exact position, but
There's a lot of houses. Just pick a house.
I'm not getting lit. I'm going to get in the bush.
You should be in that square.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop at this house up here.
Have fun.
I don't see anything A8.
I'm looking A8.
But he could be in a bush.
Yeah.
So you're gonna probably feel water.
6 minutes.
Looking the rails, nothing is poked up, but I think he's gonna leave the tracks.
Kron moved over.
That might be a A6 group up.
They could, yeah.
Yeah, just Sturv hit me from here. Sturv hit me from here.
Okay.
You want to push up the 1-2?
Not A8.
We're
I'm
not
like
yet.
right here, on top of them. Hold on. This is clear. I'm gonna go proxy.
Alright. Next, depending on what we see, we'll push 1-2.
Yeah. If they all are dumping
Okay,
over
Grill,
at
get
A6,
it.
we push.
I can see A6.
Okay.
You may head
Don't
to
you
the 0
need
line?
the girl for K2 somewhere or what?
He backed off just in time.
Bat.
Okay, I want
Can
you
we
to
keep him
leave.
suppressed so I
want
can
the
move?
grill to. Can you leave?
Yeah, I can leave.
And then
I traded with the I7.
then we move the I7 over.
You
Oh,
keep him
you
lit.
want me to
I
head
can fight him.
K line to the K1 or?
Okay, well, if we get damage on veggie, this is good.
Where do you want me to head?
Just get ready to cover. Cover the mid and
Just keep
A6.
him lit. I can farm him there. He's just sitting there.
Okay.
You're sure the stir was at A6 earlier?
No, he shot Ox.
Okay.
He's a
probably
one shot.
moved
Veggie's a one shot.
There you go.
Nice
Okay,
try.
there's the stirb. There's stirb.
They might push down the 1-2 now then.
Well, there's
Or
only
an
two
A-line.
bats.
Or an
They-
A-line.
Watch out. They might just push over on me.
Yeah, there's only 2 bats on the 1-2 line. That's the max.
I'm clipping Wally.
Well, you'll see
Yeah,
them
but
coming,
it's so
right?
dangerous.
You'll see
Yeah.
them coming, right?
Yeah, I should.
Okay.
4 minutes.
He's just gonna be sitting in that
I'm
bush.
just gonna
We
stay
need
over
somebody
here.
on
The
grill.
I7
Get the
again?
grill on cap then.
I7's
Okay.
half health.
Okay. Heading
I
towards
can
cap.
hit the Kron in a second.
Oh, he's running away. What the fuck?
Why'd you go stay over?
Because
Okay,
they
get-
have to push 1-2 line, and they need
two
extra
on, get
guns
two on.
to win this. They don't know where
Wally, I'll
else
take
they
your
are.
spot. You get on. Yeah.
Go.
If you guys get 2 on their... Oh,
Bet. Nice.
good kill.
Okay, counter.
There's another bat behind him. There's another bat behind him.
We're in
Tommy's
box,
out,
man.
and
he shot twice?
There's other shots.
I've
No,
got
he shot twice
4.
already.
I'm just,
He shot
that's
3?
3.
4.
Serve
will
is
be
still in the
supporting.
back. He's still in the back.
5.
He
He's
shot
going.
him.
Go.
Yeah,
Kill.
I'm going full speed.
You could cut it. You don't have to push this. We could kill these guys.
I have a broken gun.
There's
They
the
can just
third.
kill. They can just kill this bat.
There's Bales.
That's true.
I'm not stopping yet. I
Stirv's
know he's
looking me. Stirv's coming A line. Can we get shots on him?
Yeah, if you light him.
Dodo, I didn't pick your fantasy.
Hit him.
Oh, he fucking lit up as I shot.
I only have 4. I may just
Fine.
stop and shoot I7.
Yeah, you just jump into here if you need to, or do whatever. I'm coming, so you can. I can
The
fight him
Kron's
with you.
gonna try and reset, so we need to get on
I'm
the other
farming
side.
him.
Oh, bat's loaded. Bales out 2. I only have 1.
Good kill.
No, there goes all my fantasy.
Oh, Dodo.
Looks like they lost out on their precious.
Oh, and Dodo getting set on fire, burning down, still getting the cap, but that hurts.
You know, I've actually never seen someone on cap on fire for an extended period of time. I just realized it's the first time I've seen that in a long time, if at all. Usually people just die on cap or don't. There's no half measures.
And Apex not missing a beat despite External not being in this team. And that's going to be a 1-0 lead in favor of Apex, well on their way to repeating the last scoreline and making this series essentially 10-0 on the season. So AM60s need to hope they don't get aced for the second time.
Yeah, that. Well, the scoreline's definitely starting. Proc number 1 for Apex.
I will say this: anyone that picked Dox Mathis, you're about to be super excited, but I'm not going to give it away and wait for you guys to see the post-battle stats.
No, I'm going to give it away.
Killjoy.
4,788 damage.
And 1 kill.
And 1 kill.
That's not bad for an IS-7 on Prok.
It's stupid for an IS-7 on Prok.
That's shooting at range with the IS-7 130.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just that doesn't happen. Let's put it like this. Apex just had... They would have had a harder time trying to get the right tickets for the movie. Like, if their entire team wanted to go to a movie today, they would have a harder time coordinating that than they did with what they just did to Aquatic M60s.
They played that really well. I mean, there's no way around it.
That was just easy for them.
That was just systematic. No questions really being asked of them. Just said, all right, we'll do this. Yep. We'll do this. Hey, there's Veggie. We'll kill him. And then they just moved on.
And Aquatic just sat there and kind of took it. There wasn't a strong counterplay. There were just shifts in position. There were just little adjustments is what Aquatic was going for. What they weren't really hitting on was that Apex had the entire map to play with. Well, so they could create the angles they wanted to.
This is something I talked about a lot last season, and it's been less of a problem this season, but it's still coming up, is this passive defense, where you just sit there in one place. And 82 fantasy points, Talks Mathis, Mr. Man putting up 83 of his own. Not too bad there. Got a couple resets on base. So that's not bad at all out of those two. But the rest of the team, Brett, 60 fantasy points, not bad. But Dodo falling up short. Germ also on the front page, not bad there, despite stepping into the lineup for the first time all season. Wallhacks, majority of the cap points, 132 fantasy points in that RU 251.
I don't even know what to say, Rox. I don't even know what to say. It's going to flip sides. Now Apex is on defense.
Well, the one thing that I want to say is, I talked about the passive defenses a lot last season. And versus these good teams, when you give them time, you don't have any sort of secondary play, they just don't work. And, there wasn't really anything creative there out of M60s. It was a very standard defense, standard rotations, just picked apart one by one. In the second that one tank went down for M60s, it just had the snowball effect. You take a snowball, you roll it down a hill, it just becomes bigger and bigger. It's exactly what happened there.
Yeah, or I kind of just thought they were an autopilot,
That also looked like it.
Yeah.
And, whoa, M60s, 3 Kronwagens, 2 Batchets, an STRV 103B, and Felix in the M40 43. Apex coming out with an IS-7, 4 Batchets, a Grill 15, and an RU 251.
Okay. So, nothing crazy there. Apex is playing very standard for themselves. But the 3 Kronwagens, your thoughts? Where's that going? Just to the mid?
I would not be surprised to see some sort of... Bringing the artillery makes me second-guess this, but if I just saw 3 Kronwagens with this lineup, I'd assume they were going to go for something crazy aggressive, get on that opening ridge, look for shots, really take control of that middle, try to get maybe that I-7 out. They have the heat shell, so if they work that middle ridge, they could just fire into his upper plate without too much problem. And just between the 3 of them, that should be enough to kill him, even if a couple bounce. However, they're setting up in a much more standard defense. They have 1 Kronwagen over at K2. The STRV trying to get up on the boost at K6 that we saw Germ doing last game. And Wallhacks sitting in the low ground also at K7 looking for some shots. While M60s, or Apex, running a trap at this point. They have the 3 Batchets in the low ground at C8. Just sitting here waiting for the rotation out of M60s, maybe trying to catch someone out that doesn't check all the angles.
It's a trap. That's what it is. This is a hard counter from Apex. What they're going to be going for is defense against aquatic M60s, attacking or sending a scout up on the east very early on. This is a very meta strategy, you could say, in which case this team is trying to counter out aquatic M60s based on the common strategy that almost every team goes for when they're spotting the east side of the map.
Well, let's go ahead and listen to how M60s try to break this down and if they can figure out about the trap that Apex are running right now.
Veggie, get in this finger.
Okay, you can do your work now. I'll be loaded in time. I'm actually going to aim like D8 just to have a guy in one of those bushes.
Poke here, Veggie, at the top. See if your turret gets lit.
Oh, come.
No.
Okay. I'm gonna come over.
Did not get lit.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Alright. Then we need to start getting you up like here. I'm gonna blind fire A0 again.
Nothing that can spot me from there unless it's down low.
Blind fire A0 again.
Probably at least 1 tank in A8.
Yeah, that'd be my guess. I'll put 1 in A0 and the next one will go to A8. 36 seconds on A8.
I'm with 1 connection.
You want me and can me and Veggie take the ball?
Okay, can you pick the bush though?
Yeah. Take the ball.
Then I'm gonna push up.
Be really careful of a bunch of bats healing though.
Yeah, I mean that's what Matt has to help us with.
Do I need to yellow
peek,
zero line?
Don't peek. Just stay low.
I can do it if you want.
No. Dark should stay high, Bale should yellow to 0.
Okay. Getting speed then.
Okay, Danny, just try and watch for A6 in case they have a sniper up there. I'm looking A8, but I'm gonna hold my shot until you tell me you're lit from there, Bales.
Mm-hmm. Were you guys lit going into the bowl?
No. We're staying dark.
Pre-aim A6.
I'm pre-aimed A8.
No, full take run.
Yeah, the other 2 crons, you probably have drawn this as well.
Wasn't lit.
A little risky. But I'm gonna shoot.
Yeah.
There's one other bush.
Not lit.
Oh, there's the
Hello, Bliss.
Wait, can we push 1 2? How many?
Yeah, push 1 2. That's 3. I might get a shot off here.
I mean, we need to wait for Matt.
I'm coming.
Get up here and farm off us, man.
That was a pretty good trade
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good trade. I'm going to move over to the 1-2 line. Dark, just try not to get YOLO'd. Like, try and...
Dark, if
Get
able
high,
to, I'd even
get
come
high,
left.
Matt. Get high.
I don't think
Get
they're
high
gonna rush me.
I don't think they are 1-2, honestly.
I mean, Wally might be over here. Not lit yet.
I think it's like, I think Ox is in
I'm
here.
lit.
Okay. They have something, probably a Rue. Okay. Left side or right side?
Maybe right.
They're gonna try and YOLO you, Dark. I think you gotta run.
I'm not gonna get out. I think.
Do we want to push A6? Can we get
Yes,
the Kron high?
yes.
I'm lit again. It's going to be the RU and A6.
They're gonna push me.
S7.
I think we gotta go on Ox right here.
Yeah, we have to go on Ox. Then they can help us too.
I'm gonna aim on the 0 line for when they come around on you. Just try and get a track on them. Try and get a track on Germ.
There you go, Veggie. You need to be going right now. Already get on him. Stay on that side of the rock, Veggie.
Candy, you need to go north side.
Why we cannot kill the S7?
Because I'm dead. They have a gorilla sitting behind him.
And what? They got a guy into south. And he high rolls me.
How much longer to load? Just stay safe from the grill if you can.
There's a bat shot's the problem.
No, I'm telling Marsh. Or Veggie, I mean. Nice. Fuck.
All right, Rox. Well, it appears as though Aquatic M60s is left with 2 tanks after their attempt.
I like what they were going for. The problem was Apex were running essentially a hard counter. They were set up with the trap. They were ready for a push down the 0 line. If Apex had been running a more standard defense, something a little bit more split, some tanks at A3.
Maybe it's not Kronwagens in all the cases?
No, I actually don't mind the Kronwagens from M60s. If the strat played out the way I imagined they were trying to go for it, get some tanks up on the 0 line, box the tanks in at A6, and then try to get some eyes on them. What you can then do is use these Kronwagens to get multiple clips off along that ridge safely into those tanks at A5, and you might be able to get a couple picks right then and there while we're working that gun depression. The problem is just the way it ended up breaking down for M60s is Apex just didn't have the tanks in the position for that to work. It's one of these situations where this strat will work great if they do the standard thing. The problem is Apex definitely changed it up because you can tell they have a little bit of respect, at least for M60s, that they're not doing the same thing they did their last match day where they recycled the same strats over and over again.
Yeah, that was what I was looking for when I was watching it as well, because after Eclipse getting countered like they did at a few rounds, they realized it's time to switch it up. So yeah, go for that. Aquatic's not ready for it, and well, that's going to be the second one in a row for Proc.
And what this does is this essentially makes it so now teams facing Apex, they go, all right, well, they've been running this all season, but then they changed it up and they did this. And so now that adds a second layer that an opposing team has to worry about and take into effect, or, count into effect. Are they going to do this? Are they going to do that? It's not as easy as it was for Eclipse, where they go, all right, they've been doing this all season. They're probably not going to change it up. If we see this, then we can just go for it. We know what they're doing. This is going to start making people ask questions. So all Apex really have to do is maybe do another match day where they change it up a little bit, and then they can go back to what they were doing before, and it's going to be just like no one had ever seen it before.
Yeah, they just keep all of these plays in their playbook, and whenever they come up against something they're expecting to get countered out, just bring out a new strat. Overall, though, Apex is looking good in the series. They're already 2 up, and they have every reason to keep this momentum going as we're about to head into Ghost Town next. And Rockstar, Ghost Town, let's talk about that. How do you think Apex fares against Aquatic?
Well, if you just want to look at numbers, I think this speaks volumes. Apex, 13 games on Ghost Town, 84% win rate, one of those losses coming against Eclipse. M60s, 3 games on Ghost Town all season, 1 for 3.
Yeah, so
just looking at the numbers right there, if you want to go off of just numbers, just numbers, you have to give this one to Apex.
So Apex should win this one. Probably they should be able to take 2 battles. Is based off statistics.
I have not seen anything in M60s play on Ghost Town or out of anything out of Apex right now to make me think that this is going to be any different than normal.
Okay. Well, wait. What's normal with Apex?
Dominance.
Okay.
5-0ing people.
I just wanted to check. I just wanted to make sure our definition of normal with Apex was the same because
Apex have 4 5-0 wins on the season, and they have 3 5-1s on the season, and one of those last 5-0s was previously against M60s. So, complete dominance. The closest they've come to is that overtime win against Eclipse, where Eclipse really pushed them in. And then one thing to remember is that Apex, of all the losses they have on the season, of all now 10 of 10 round losses, 7 of those come against Eclipse. Only 3 of those go to teams outside of Eclipse. That is the sort of dominance that Apex have on this league right now.
What do you do about that? How does Aquatic can't even approach them right now?
What you have to do is you have to do what we saw Deja Vu do last season, and just do something so unorthodox, so out there, so crazy that Apex just doesn't have a good answer for it. Now, those strats can backfire on you terribly because if one little thing goes wrong and it's game over.
Those usually don't work in the long run at all, though.
Well, it's not a thing you want to do every game at all, but you're going up versus Apex, you throw something standard at them, doesn't work. All right, guys, we have nothing to lose. We are going to, I don't know, let's
top tier it up on mines?
Yeah, just go for it. Just simply go for it. Best direction is forward, as you like to say. Find something crazy, do something different, maybe something you ran once in some scrim that you just tried and it worked terribly, but what do you have to lose right now?
Well, nothing to lose, but your timeouts. Both teams have lost theirs as they both, one after the other, call a timeout. So, nice extended break from Battle 1 to Battle 2, or rather Map 1 to Map 2. And that's why we're waiting around for just a moment, because both teams felt like they needed a little bathroom break or something. Why do you call 2 timeouts in a row? For me, it doesn't seem like you need much more than that minute. Save your timeout for later in the series.
The only thing I can think of, and I don't by no means think this is a legit reason, but Germ stepping into this lineup after a while, maybe wanting to be refreshed on the strats before they get into it, make sure that they get this 4-0, get a nice comfortable lead.
Hey guys, I didn't show up for practice the
that one
day.
time when we played Apex or Blast Scrim, I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, it's like, guys, I don't know the strat. What am I doing? You're doing the jump, the most important part.
Yeah, now the reason why I would say that's probably not it is it's Germ. He played all last season. He's anyone on this roster, even Drynets or even Comps showed that he can step into this lineup and play just fine.
Well,
so I really don't think that's it.
Well, no. You do need a refresher on the strat, so I think you're right there. He might need a refresher. But...
Alt-tab 10 seconds. Wally goes, hey, here's the strat sketch link. There you go. And Germ can look at it. He's a caller. He'll understand exactly what's going on. You just say, you're that one bat chat up there. Follow the lines, and you're going to figure it out.
Yeah. I can see that. Is Wally the kind of guy, do you think, that draws a bunch of lines and does descriptions and says no, he just puts points on a map kind of a guy?
No, Wallhacks is loud. He says, this is what I want done, do it, and expects everyone to listen and do it.
All right, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get ready for battle number 3.
Ghost Town. The first absolutely symmetrical map, made especially for 7 versus 7 games. The teams start the battle on opposite sides. There are numerous ways to attack here. One of the bases is located in the central square, the other one at the top of the city. The hardest battles are usually fought for the top base, and this calls for the use of heavy tanks. Sometimes the teams choose fast tanks for spotting and base capturing.
And tank lineups coming in here. A few tanks still being picked, actually, at this very moment, so we'll get that coming in. And this is the final lineup right now. M60s, a 215B, 3 T57s, 2 bad chats, and an Object 416. This is what I'm talking about. Go for something unorthodox. Change it up. Be crazy. Apex, a 113, 3 50Bs, 2 bad chats, and an RU 251.
And Apex is going to pick the most winningest tanks in the league over Aquatic M60s. I say most winningest because French tanks seem to win a lot. American tanks have a lower win rate.
That might just be by sheer volume. The Bad Chat and the 50B are the top two most picked tanks in the league.
But look at their win ratios. Also look at their accuracy ratings. Bad Chats and 50Bs, I believe, perform better than 57.
I have those numbers. On the season, Bad Chats have done, and it looks like we have a disconnect.
Do we?
Yeah, everyone's froze for me.
Oh.
Looks like a disconnect.
Yeah, it looks like the call.
Waiting to get a confirmation on disconnect, and we are back. So I'm going to assume this is a disconnect. Either that or it's some crazy strat out of M60s, but that's not the sort of crazy I was talking about.
That looks like a disconnect to me.
So anyways, to go over these numbers here real quick, so I looked down at my notes, just think about these numbers. So far this season, Bad Chats in total have racked up 2 million damage on the season. Their average damage is around 1,500, so actually not one of the highest average damage tanks, but because of sheer volume, they pump out a lot of damage. They have the most sniper damage done in the league, so damage done at above 300 meters.
Yep.
Only 0.8 on average kills, so don't even average a full kill a game. So
With accuracy. Compare that to the American tank.
the hit rate,
The 50Bs to the 57s.
well, hit rate comes out at a 79% for the 50B.
Yep.
Finding the T57 on this list somewhere all the way down here, 78%. So actually dead even, 78 to 79%.
Okay.
Now, if you want to look at
I was looking at the stats before yesterday.
yeah, but here's where it may come into play is the penetration rating. 82% of those shots that hit for the 50B penetrate.
Okay.
Where only 71% of the shots from the 57 penetrate.
So,
little variance there. And once again, look at these numbers. This is at a microscopic level. This is maybe 1 or 2 extra shots through the whole season that's missed. Could over every match,
Really?
1 or 2 shots over
that's
every
not going to
match.
throw everything off, because with enough 50Bs, I feel like the 50B stats are solid, right?
You have 1 heat shell a game for a 57. Every time 57 brought fizz out on tracks or something.
Yeah.
That's the difference in those numbers right there. Just 1 extra shell.
Yeah.
Do it over every game.
That's heat performance. That's why you always question heat shells. Like, I'm always skeptical, because heat shells against E100s, against IS4s, IS7s.
The times where you want those heat shells, there's 2 situations that come to mind.
Yeah.
Flat armor of German tanks, extremely thick stuff, Maus E100, E50M, or thickly armored cast iron turrets, Russian mediums mainly.
Yeah.
Heat shells, great. Shooting at the sides of the tank, shooting at space armor, into drive wheels.
Not so good. Not so good at all.
Nope.
And we'll have to see. As it looks like, 30-second countdown has started. Looks like DC was called, so yeah, they're getting back into it right now. And this lineup, the FE 215B versus a 113. T57s, 3 of them versus 350.
Now the thing that we're overlooking though with these 57s, the DPM advantage that comes for them 60s. Those T57s average 3K DPM because of how fast they fire, 2 seconds between each shot, 22 seconds on the clip. And think about it, 1,600 damage per T57 in its clip. That's 4,800 damage that these 3 can pump out themselves. That's almost 2 tanks.
But do they survive the first engagement? Do they actually live against the 50?
That is why you bring a 215B with its 2,500 HP pool that it brings.
Yeah. So
use that to eat those first shells, push those 57s in later. Now looking at Apex, though, 350Bs, 2.5 seconds between each shell on the clip, and 28 seconds roughly on the clip. I think it's 28 seconds on the clip. Really have to check the exact number. But DPM is lowered by a couple hundred. 416, only been used 2 times. When we see it on attack on Ghost Town, what it says to me is cap pressure. Low tank to sit in the low ground. No UDIS coming out from Apex on defense, and the reason why that is because it looks like they're going to go for raw aggression. Wallhacks coming across the north here, just poking around, seeing what he sees, gets spotted, spots Mr. Man in return, bails out. Felix spotted in the bat chat for AM60s, and a couple of bat chats for Apex getting real aggressive towards the middle road, maybe trying to catch out Felix, trying to catch someone out, and they're just getting really aggressive. They're trying to shut this down, take all momentum that they can from M60s. First damage going into that 215B. This is not what it's talking about using the 215B to take some damage. No trades coming in there. Felix takes a shot for 391.
And that's a risky play. He almost exposed himself too much.
This is really risky from both teams.
T57s move up, take position. That's Bales and Veggie. Nice play right there. This is Aquatic kind of feeling out their opponent and taking advantage of those little tiny moments that they have to themselves to try and do this. And now Dodoma. Looks like Dodoma's taking on Dark Ninja, and he understands how aggressive he can get. He's putting up plenty of damage onto him while he's on reload.
Mr. Man taking a lot of damage. Going bat chat right now. Down 675. Well, Canadian Impact also goes down to below 600.
Looks like Veggie's starting to take some damage. That's going to prompt a push by God Emperor Brett. German Knits. Canadian Impact will go down, yes. But in the meantime, it looks like pressure's coming towards Feel My Potato, Veggie, and Bales. Although that damage is not really hitting home.
Ox Mathis just put off a full clip into Bales, took away a lot of that HP. Now look at the HP pools. They're actually even. Both teams down 1 tank. And look at the crew damage for Apex. A dead driver into Nitz and a dead gunner into Germ. Not an ideal situation. Dark Ninja's coming off reload, caught Ox Mathis out in the open and got him tracked.
Dodoma as well, and he's got shots into Feel My Potato, but
Dark Ninja doesn't have the follow-up shot, so he's going to back up into cover right now. And Dark Ninja left in an awkward spot. He's going to get out of there. Ox catches the back drive wheel, and he's able to put shots into the engine deck, but Mr. Man saves Dark Ninja, picks up the kill onto Ox.
Although Germ's now reloaded onto Fuel My Potato, he gets a kill on the east part of the map. Now follow-up, Germ and God Emperor Bread are going to target Bales. I don't think they're going to be able to deal with that. Bales goes down.
One tank after another. Mr. Man coming in here trying to help. Now Mr. Man can do this if they can pick that up. Marsh going for that. And now it's all down to Marsh, 2v1, almost a one-shot bat chat. He needs to win this versus Wallhacks. This isn't over for Marsh. He could certainly do this.
Absolutely can.
He gets a great shot there, takes one in return.
Of all tanks, though, this is a tricky tank to do this with because he does not have...
Oh, and Wally gets stuck. Does Marsh get the shot?
And he does.
He does. But now Dodoma's going to be reloaded. Marsh is stuck right there. Going to try to simp off the corpse of that 50B.
Oh, but this is Dodo. Dodo knows exactly what he's doing, and he's a phenomenal
The thing is this Marsh is in the 416. That gun is the Russian medium gun, same one off the T-54, 320 average alpha.
Fires heat, though.
Fires heat, but he also has AP.
He should have AP.
He should have a combination of both.
And if he's smart, I'm thinking he loads AP right now. Because if you're going to use heat shells against a bat chat, the worst thing to ever happen is when you just get it into tracks and it just fizzles.
So Marsh,
because this heat shell doesn't pen quite as well as like a T-57 heat shell.
Yep.
So it's not just going to... It's going to have, I guess, some variance in performance.
Marsh can take one shell right now. One shell safely.
Yes.
Dodoma can't even take one shell safely. There is a chance that's plenty to kill him. Now, it's going to be close. That would be a high roll.
And he spotted.
Dodoma lands his first shot, 270. He bounces one.
Oh, no.
If he doesn't get this shot, he gets it. Dodoma clutches with 87 HP. All that remains, great stuff there from Apex, making it 3-0.
That's Dodoma for you. Tier 10, by the way, as well. So every advantage for him. Apex played that aggressively, if a little bit loose, risky, you could say. And, well, that was... I have to say, I did not expect that brawl to happen. I really thought Apex was going to try something a little bit more along the lines of what we've normally seen from them on Ghost Town, which is...
Well, and once again, this comes down to realizing the other teams are catching on to their strats and deciding to change it up, and this just comes to the same thing. Let's change it up. Let's get aggressive. Let's get in their face.
Yeah, these guys are afraid of us. They realize that. When you're the top team in the league and
they smell the blood in the water.
Exactly. So when you realize you're at that level amongst other teams, it's time to maybe start stretching out and seeing how well you can play in a riskier environment.
Yep.
You know, when you need to deal with an opponent in a scenario where you don't...
Without being too much of a nerd here, I guess you could compare Apex to being the Dementor from Harry Potter right now. They sense the fear. They go for it. I've only seen that movie once a long time ago. I'm surprised I remember that.
Really?
But, yep. Was never a big Harry Potter guy, but it's totally besides the point.
I love Harry Potter. It's great stuff. Anyway, Aquatic M60s is now down 3-0. And so, with Apex sitting on a lead like that, they should be able to clean this match pretty soon. Aquatics got to deal with a long series, and of course, I believe if we remember correctly, isn't Aquatic one of those teams that does okay in overtime?
They actually haven't gone to overtime a lot this season. Only one game.
Last season, though.
Last season, they definitely had a record to go very long. And they also played mines very well, but that's not even in the map pool tonight, so that's something that's not even going to help them. And looking at their map pool, they don't really have anything outside of mines and Muravanka that really stick out as far as outliers. Everything else, they've just been pretty mediocre on this season. If you want to talk about strong spots, Himmelsdorf, or not even Himmelsdorf, Steps, their defense, 75% over 4 games. But other than that, they've played... The thing about M60s in their map pool is they've played pretty much everything a little bit, but only a couple maps have they played a lot more than others, and that comes down to Prokhorovka, Himmelsdorf, and Muro. But even then, that's not really that large a sample size compared to some of these other teams.
Yeah. All right, well, we are just now getting into the countdown for battle number 4. This is Aquatic M60s defending against Apex.
Mr. Man, Dodo, and Hawks Mathis, the only savior for pretty much everyone's fantasy team today.
Yep.
Because there was not a whole lot of points in that first game, and this game looks to be pretty short as well. But looking at the lineups, M60s, 4 50Bs, a Batchat, and 2 T54 E1s, bringing nothing but autoloaders.
I like that, actually. The 54 E1s, I've always liked the way they perform, and I like the kind of profile and size of the tank. I feel like it works well when you put it next to 50Bs. It looks almost like a mini 50B.
What may come into play here, though, for Apex is 3 50Bs, 2 Batchats, and what I was just about to allude to, the 2 WZ-111 Model 1 4s. Consistent fire, Russian heavy tank, or in this case, the Chinese heavy tank.
And there we go. We're going to split off.
It's really a Russian
going one way.
50B is going, and they're just going to go for a straight-up pincer. To clarify, they are essentially a Russian-made and model tank that the Chinese then produced for their own tank. So in a way, a Russian tank, but really Chinese.
They kind of owned it in their own way.
They made the same with the IS-2. Like, they had some slight modifications, stuff that they could produce a bit quicker for that particular tank, but more often than not,
shots fired.
Were identical.
Downtown, Ox Mathis is able to sneak one or two into Feel My Potato into bales. Did not see that coming.
And already M60s bleeding HP left and right. Missed shot onto Dark Ninja.
And what's Apex going to do? In fact, I wonder. With Nitz is, by the way, on Apex. He's over on cap, but he's going to have to run away.
I must say, I do like that camo on M60s.
Oh, you got to love it.
Little spots, like bubbles underwater. And there's M60s grouping up right now. I expect to see some sort of push out of them. Half of them are lit. The rest of them not so at this point, and they're just going to drive forward, try to get out of here.
And we'll see. Are they going to...
One shot into Feel My Potato.
Are they going to be able to get on the cap?
Nitz gets the opening shot. They recognize that there's some sort of an overmatch here, so they're going to go try to find Dodoma, but Dodoma is going to have something to say about that as he takes out Dark Ninja. Focus fire going on to Felix, trying to get him out.
And the jumps!
Mr. Man trying to go for the Goomba, misses, but still takes down Dodoma.
Come on, man. That jump was cool.
He went for it, didn't get it, though.
Yeah, it was still cool.
Damage going back and forth, but this is not looking good for M60s. This is about to be a 4-0. They're not careful here. Another tank goes down. Nitz finding Felix. Germ and Brett both reloading right now. They'll be reloaded. They'll push this H-line. They will box in these final tanks for M60s. Once again, M60s saying, hey, nothing we've done has worked. Let's just go for it. And
it's the choo-choo train of death.
You have nothing to lose at this point. Why not try something? If it backfires, you can just go, oh, but well, we were already out of that anyways. Might as well have tried something. You can still hold your heads high. This isn't like this is the season finals and they're out of ideas just going for it. This is just a regular season match.
And
jostling for position.
Apex is destroying them.
They are just every which way. And that is going to be Apex just putting their foot down 4-0. And the last map is going to be Himmelsdorf, a map that, looking down at it, Apex haven't lost a game on Himmelsdorf all season, and I don't see any reason right now why I think they're about to lose one right now.
It's over, Rox. I'm pretty sure it's over. We're putting the final nails in the coffin. Butter's getting cold. It's done, dude. I don't know if Aquatic has a chance.
The Snarkle for M60s just below water right now. Water starting to seep in.
No, you just see bubbles coming up right now, dude. It's done.
Okay.
It's all bubbles. And I'm just sitting around waiting to see if they're going to come up for air, sure, but no. They,
Well, even if they come up for air, I don't see any reason why they're not going to go back under a moment later.
I'm pretty sure the metaphor is supposed to be that the underwater is bad, above water good. Is that what we're going for here? I can't...
Yes.
Okay. Because they're not coming back.
At least if you want to compare that to this match, I don't see anything that makes me think that M60s are have gills and can handle themselves underwater.
Okay, we're going to stop here. Yeah. We're just going to move on.
Just putting it out there.
All right. No, it's good. It's good. It's just Aquatic's having a really rough time, dude. I don't know what...
We're sitting here and we're talking about M60s and what they're doing wrong. What are Apex doing well? What are Apex doing that's just separating them so much right now from M60s for the second time this season?
Crossfires... Generally, reactions are fine. Mostly, Aquatic's just not dealing with them very well. It's just Apex sees the opportunities, and they understand that there's one tank that's exposed. There's a bunch of angles you can use that'll take advantage of that. You've got the crossfires. You've got everything you could want. Aquatic M60s is giving this match to Apex on a silver platter, right? It's just, you're watching it happen right there on the screen. There's not too much more to it, if you get what I'm saying. I'm not trying to say it's not complex in many ways, but it's so simple that really just look at what's going on, right? Well, just look at the way these guys are driving around.
This is very similar to what we talked about earlier about setting the bar. They're doing something very simple, but they're doing it so well that they're just putting that bar out of reach for M60s to even be able to jump over.
Yeah. I'm kind of just reminded of... No, I'm not going to get into history. No history lessons right now, guys. But we're about to get into battle number 5. Let's go ahead. Do it.
Himmelsdorf, a small city map. The teams start the battle in opposite corners. Both bases are located close to each other, but in a way that you can't stay on the defensive all the time. The main attack routes pass through the hill, the alley and the railroad, but in general, the attack can be successfully executed through any part of the map. Heavy tanks and tank destroyers with powerful guns run the show here. However, a lot depends on the mobile light tanks.
And M60s apparently haven't been learning their lesson in terms of don't run passive defenses versus teams like this, bringing 3 Mouses, a 4005 Stage 2, an E3, a Meal 2, and an STI. Now, if they ran something aggressive, that would be the real definition of just throwing a curveball in there, trying something out there. But I doubt that's what we'll see. Meanwhile, Apex 2113s, a 50B, a 215B, a bad shot, a grill, and an AMX 1390.
Well, at the very least, you can say that aquatic M60s will take a long time to kill.
Yeah, that's one way of looking at it. But another way of looking at it comes down to the average round times, if you want to look at it this way.
Hey!
Himmelsdorf, average battle time, 6.5 minutes, where that's for the whole league. If you want to look at Apex over here, their average Himmelsdorf is only 5:22.
It appears as though everyone on aquatic M60s has been spotted. By who? Who? Canadian Impact. And we've got shots fired. Connections. Second one.
All I see right now from Ox getting these shots off is just fantasy points.
Fantasy points. Fantasy points. They're making it rain.
You get fantasy points, and you get fantasy points.
Is this really that strat? Or we're just going to spot them and snipe them in their own base?
That's exactly, what you do. Is you outspot them, you find ways to chip away at them, you knock them down half their HP, and then you push in.
You know what? Let's just listen in. Let's just listen in to Apex as they take down aquatic.
And I'll go because I'm out of the fight right now.
You can move up. You can move up to like the window.
How do I bounce
this corner? Across?
Yeah.
Guys, set up.
Their main way to deal with this is they will push across the B line.
I'm going to the Wait. Why is this coming? Get ready to track. Get ready to track. Go for the tracks.
Didn't get it.
Got it.
Good damage,
Got it again.
Don't have an angle.
I'm watching the 5 line.
He's perma track.
I'm driving out there.
I fucked the shot.
He's perma track. One more. Please get one more.
Yeah, I'll try. Red 3.
I
did it!
Nice.
I'm in a really shitty spot right now.
They have to do something.
They're gonna push. Just get ready.
Come back to me.
Yep, I'm backing straight up.
Just come in this way. Come in this way. Get ready to hope this.
Okay, let me set up on the corner and then you can pivot off me.
Yep.
We're not watching 5 line, so we only see them when Wally proxies them.
You can watch it there. They're gonna push in, and we'll see it when it happens this way.
Actually, kind of. The FV stairs are.
Can they come up 8 line? Even the house, even though.
No, I can check that real quick.
I need to get across. I have to get across. If the
FV too slow to flank. What do you mean? They're too slow to flank.
Well, if the STI went,
the ST1, the email 2 and stuff can do this stuff.
Alright, never mind.
There's the ST1. If the ST1's there, then that
mouse.
He's trying to echelon off. I have a feeling something's gone south, but just worry about the mouse right now.
If something does come behind us, just make sure we push on that.
Okay.
Careful. He's gonna splash.
Just stay safe. He shot. No, that was a mouse. Can we relight the SD maybe?
I can try. Dart. Damn.
I'm gonna go back to 5 line because they're all there.
Okay. He's gonna try and splash. We can't let these guys splash.
Yeah, that's all of them. I can come up behind them.
Who's shooting at you?
STI shot.
You're just waiting for me to shoot. Okay.
They might push you. I'm behind.
Dart's 1 shot.
Splash. I'm gonna. If he does that again, I'll die.
I'm gonna get.
Okay, we're getting punished. We're getting punished on this. We're getting a lot of damage for it, Wally.
I'm farming the STI. He's like looking at me.
Yeah.
We should just get Wally off and go fucking on cap.
No, we're winning.
We're
already won.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, if we're just gonna lose, so, like, might as well.
Loading again?
Both my shot.
Careful, Jim.
He just shot.
There's 2 of them.
Oh my god, I can't
Yeah, so go pressure the... Go get on 1 cap right now, Wally.
Yeah.
We got this.
Oh my god, how did he win that? Oh my god.
Wait.
I thought I was
shot
safe on the corner.
He can. Just remember, he can overmatch fucking.
Yeah, I know the side. I thought
Bring
I was.
the 50
Are you watching this line, Impact? If not, I'm gonna leave.
No, I can't.
Bring the 50B out.
I'm gonna leave it.
Yeah, I'm coming. That's what I'm doing.
Sorry, I was poked out too far.
Wait, I can probably kill that.
I got lit leaving.
Yeah, poke the corner, kill the CI first.
Oh, okay. 4005 shot. 4005 shot.
We gotta be careful. 4005 is feasting on us. Yeah. Bleeding.
Okay, let's kill that.
E3's in the open.
Good kill.
There you go.
E3 has a side to us.
Just stick Wally on the cap.
Cover 3 line for me.
I'm loading.
Or cover 5 line. Just make sure nothing can cross back.
I'm fine. No
Nitz, can you watch the window on the 7th?
Yeah.
Or do you want Brett to do it?
I
don't think it really matters.
Nothing can cross back.
Yeah.
Or never mind.
I'm just gonna wait on the crossback.
You do what you're doing.
I'm gonna wait on the crossback.
Impact, they're gonna have to push that line. Don't do that.
I'm flanking them. I'm farming damage.
We're all farming, bruh.
Like they have yet to Dodo, you can see them. I'm watching, yes. I'm watching.
They're going down 5 line.
5 line.
What the?
Wow.
They're pushing me. I'm trying to shoot them.
Straight down the 5. That's not everything.
Marsh is one shot.
Yeah, it is.
They can take. Tell Marsh and take like.
I can't.
I can just focus.
Marsh shot.
He shot.
He's on reload. Everything else hasn't shot. One mouse looking north.
D2 shot.
What the fuck? And I'm Amarak. I can't farm.
Ram.
Dude, fuck this game.
Yes,
Did you
I
just
thought I was
Amarak?
tucked in sharper
Yeah,
in the corner than I was, and my little thing was sticking out.
What?
Thought I was safe.
Let me farm.
I potatoed. I'm
No,
sorry.
I'm blocking
Ram
people.
failed. Did anybody pick Bales just now?
Oh, sorry.
Block Dodo.
You gotta wait.
Block Ox.
He shot.
Block
One
Ox.
shot.
Block Ox. No.
And Ox showing exactly how much he cares about getting those fantasy points for all of you, even though he's ammo racked, fighting for every HP that he can get. As Apex close it out 5-0 over Aquatic M60s.
And I believe they were just as baffled as we were about the what was going on there. I think Aquatic had finally given up, and they just kind of were saying, well, we'll just take that last glorious charge at about 5 to 10 kilometers an hour at any given time.
I said it before, that mouse assault, the slowest assault you'll ever see. It was to the point where they basically sat there and sent a telegram to Apex, just sat there, handed in the letter, had the guy just sit there, just type it out.
Yeah, exactly. You just spend the next few minutes.
It was like a solid minute where Wally said, all right, guys, they're going to push. They're going to push over here.
I think he got bored waiting for them to push for a moment. Like, you could hear Wally actually asking for a moment, what are they doing? And those are his words. He was confused. He didn't understand what Aquatic was going to try to do with that.
And the problem with passive defenses is this. Earlier I talked about the snowball effect. Once you start a snowball rolling down a hill, it just picks up speed. What you have to do to stop it from going downhill is you have to be able to change it up. You have to go into a second mode, because if you sit there, you're just going to get picked apart. And the problem with this lineup, in particular, oriented passive defense is, all right, they lose a tank, now we have to do something. Oh, great, we have 3 mouses, an E3, a 4005. Nothing we're going to do is going to surprise the opponent. That's the whole thing, is you have to come into some sort of surprise, some sort of push. You have to change things quickly and get back onto the course that you want to be on.
Yeah.
And this mouse lineup just doesn't allow you to do that. It was over the second that first tank went down. Now, this lineup, we've seen it work, but that's simply because the other team made the mistakes. They didn't get the kill, and they bled way too much HP early on. Apex not making those same mistakes, playing it really slow, taking every inch just a little bit at a time, trying to find every little gap they can. And look at all the fantasy points. Ox, 86 fantasy points, 4,000 damage.
All right,
got
that's
it
good.
for Brett, 4,000 damage and 3 kills, 71 fantasy points.
Yeah.
Marsh, 4,005, 104 fantasy points. Nitz, doing 75. Mr. Man only able to get off 34, but he was playing the mouse after all. Has not been buffed yet. It will be buffed next patch. Get a significant DPM buff and a mobility buff. So definitely keep an eye on that. Second page, nothing too surprising down here. Wallhack's getting all the cap points, 82 fantasy points for him. Not too bad there. Wally calling pretty, I don't want to say spectacularly. Oh my God, English. But that's not because he wasn't calling well. It's just M60s didn't ask any questions that really made him have to step up. There was no real test for him.
We noticed this the entire time. Apex was very aggressive. They were setting the tempo. They were doing everything to force Aquatic M60s out of their comfort zone or to force them to actually exert themselves,
Yep.
right?
Well,
Aquatic M60s did nothing to Apex that forced Apex to do anything beyond their original skill set, right? There was nothing in there that they couldn't figure out on their own.
Yeah, what I'll compare this to is having two tests, one that you study for and one that you didn't. This was handing Apex a test that they had already studied, that they may have even already taken and seen all the answers for.
Yeah.
If you want to get a win over Apex, you have to hand them a test that they have never seen before, that they haven't studied, and they don't have the answers.
And you have to hope that there's a trick question or two in there.
They're good enough, and they're smart enough to answer at least half of those right, even if they're guessing.
Yeah.
But then it comes down to the how smart are they? Can they get the that extra game or two they need, or the extra question or two right?
Yeah.
And when you hand them a test that they already have all the answers for.
This is also a match where you're probably going to lose. People haven't beaten Apex yet.
Well, let's go ahead.
We've got a handful of battles, and that's it.
Well, we are going to be joined right now by Comps, I believe.
All right, Comps. That was there are a number of words we can use to describe it, but you're making the WGL great again is one way that we can put that. Because that was absurd. You guys smashed them on Proc. There wasn't even a second chance for Aquatic on Ghost Town. In fact, it seemed like it was going so badly, people were just trying to have fun with it on Aquatic side. What did that feel like? There was anything from Aquatic that challenged Apex this time?
I mean, from the comms, everything looked like it went well. The guys sort of knew what they were expecting on M60's side, so it was basically just what we had gone over the previous day and just applied those to these matches, and we got the result we wanted.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to just a quick question. You guys called the timeout at the same time. M60s didn't really see any reason for a timeout though in that situation. What was up with that?
Wally had to go to the bathroom.
There we go. That's what we figured.
Makes sense. Yeah. Okay. And then I guess the last one is Germ stepped in today. How'd he do?
Well, I mean, we'll go over replays after, but from what I heard, he was communicating well. And, I mean, he wasn't a hindrance to the team, so I guess that's a good thing.
All right, so looking forward, everything looks solid. Thank you for joining us, Comps. That was a wonderful match.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you. All right, well, Apex dominates again, and in stunning fashion.